seasons, 10 teams to cheer. And in those years, 1,000 shots on goal, 1,000 strikes and slides and saves and drops of sweat and blood, 1,000 shouts. No, more. Tens of thousands crowding the stands with hearts in their mouths to raise their voice as one. One goal, only one, to hold the trophy high and bring it home. This is the year. This is the team. The playmakers, the fast breakers, the earth shakers, who climb the air and make the opponents quake, who own the ball, who own the field, who take the shots that slow the clock, that stop each breath, the whole world spinning through the air until it hits the net. 9 years of try and try again, that was then. This is now. Get your 2018 season pass today.
Caleb Ludwig, who spoke to you last week, did the script for that, so it's worth hearing too. It's fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys. So I am Sheldon Grizzle, and I'm going to talk to you about a beautiful game, which can be applied to multiple aspects of life. So that is me, all my thighs, and frolicking on soccer field. I love to play soccer. Grew up playing, played until college, played at Covenant College, and then didn't want to stop playing, so we started Chattanooga Football Club. The first 2 years I got to play for the team, got my own trading card. I guarantee you nobody in here has that card. David Peter, do you really? Wow. Bring it and I'll sign it. That's impressive. I don't even have my own card. So I love this game too. I love to start things. I love to find gaps and opportunities in markets and in communities and figure out ways to bring something new to the table that's needed and creative. The last one on there, Credo, is, where's Jonathan? That handsome genius right there. And I are starting a new company that we're fascinated with the ideas of like local communities and specifically Chattanooga, and trying to figure out how we can help the financing and strategic planning of companies that are not really attractive to investors and banks, but that make a difference in our local economies. So it's kind of a little bit of a turn from where I've been the last several years, working with high growth, tech-oriented companies, but really excited to solve a new problem. More news on that in weeks. So real quick, I have no idea who's in this audience in terms of like who's soccer fans, who's not. So I'm just going to run through a few quick logos, and just see if there's any emotional response to some of these.
Yeah. What? Boo. I hate all this. Yes.
Only one woo for Man U? All right.
Yes.
All right. It worked. So, soccer. It is the beautiful game. Whether you acknowledge it as that or not, it's a very different game. And you got things like this that happen in games at very unexpected moments and times. You got guys like this that can make your shorts fall off. He's so quick. A set of things that everything has to happen just perfectly. The timing has to be perfect. The pass has to be perfect. The run has to be perfect and just perfectly timed. So, soccer, it's the most popular sport in the world. That was the last World Cup audience. It's estimated that there are over 3 billion soccer fans in the world that are consuming and participating in soccer-related activities on a daily basis. So now I'd like to transition a little bit just to the story of Chattanooga FC. Chattanooga's FC. The only one at this point, hopefully the only one forever. So we brought the World's Game to Chattanooga back in 2009. It started, anybody know Thomas Clark? here in the room, a few people. So Thomas Clark works for Second Story and Lamppost Properties, and he and I were good friends. He's actually not in this picture, but he came to me and was like, I have this idea, found this league, it'd be really interesting if we put a team in, but I don't know anything about starting things. And I was like, I know how to start things. So we put together a business plan. We went to a couple friends, Crew Brock and Daryl Heald, who are very involved in like the philanthropic and business community here. And we said, here's what we'd like to do. We didn't have a name for it. We had no idea about where we were going to get players or where we were going to play. I mean, nothing. We had no logo. It was just literally like a piece of paper. And they said, well, each of us are willing to lose $25,000 in pursuit of this crazy idea. and so that was like January 2009, and by May 2009, we were playing our first game. So it came together very, very fast. This group of guys, it was, I guess that's what, 6 guys, was the majority of the initial founding team, and still makes up the majority of the ownership group. We had 4 main goals when we first started Chattanooga Football Club: build community and civic pride, stimulate and develop our local economy, facilitate and integrate cultural diversity, and to make Chattanooga known as a soccer city. Notice none of those are like generate a profit or make a lot of money. You don't go into soccer if you want to make a lot of money, I can tell you that. But those were the pillars on which we were trying to build something new. So our first game, anyone attend our first game? Yeah, 3, 4. Alan, yeah, you were. So Alan Medeiros back there was on the team with me that first year. So welcome. You can fact check all this with him. We actually had 1,500 people show up to our first game, and that was through an hour rain delay, lightning delay, and I'll tell you, I wrote the initial business plan based on 500 fans a game. And so to have 1,500 in your very first game through that kind of weather just totally blew our mind. And we, I mean, all of us kind of came out of the locker room and looked around. We're like, what is happening here? This is different. This is not what we expected. And we didn't know it then, but now looking back, I firmly believe that we were sowing seeds then and over the last 9 years that already is and will eventually change the future of American soccer. That's a bold statement, but I really believe it's true. Part of the reason for that is just this unexpected passion that we accidentally tapped into. We thought something might be there, but we didn't know. Kind of one of the capstone moments over the last 9 years was 2015. We hosted a national championship game for the NPSL finals at Finley Stadium. We had over 18,000 people show up. Over the last 9 years, we've had 300,000 fans come to our games. And just to give you some kind of comparison, our peer teams in other cities have had about 13,000. So for you math geeks out there, that's like a 22x over what other teams and cities are seeing. So there's definitely something cool happening. Had 6 conference championships, 5 of them in a row, a winning season every year, 4 NPSL finals. We have not won one yet. It's coming though, I can feel it. And we did win 1 amateur national championship, which basically just crowns the top amateur team in the country. Even though our league is a semi-pro league, we're an all-amateur team. 4 years ago, we began investing in the women's program. And that was something that we wanted to do from day one. But as a lot of women's programs over the years have just been really hard to fund and to make sustainable. But it's a commitment that we have. I have a daughter who plays soccer. A lot of us have daughters or sisters or moms. And it really makes sense to figure out a way that we can build a sustainable business model that promotes the women's sport as well. We're confident that this will be their best year yet. In 2012, we hosted a youth soccer summit here in Chattanooga, and basically was able to help orchestrate a merger of 4 different clubs that were all infighting and competing for coaches and talent, and facilities and all that kind of stuff. And so now we have the Chattanooga FC Academy. There's over 900 players that play for that academy system. And we actually have teams that are now competitive on a state and regional level, whereas before that was impossible because all the talent was diluted. So that's been a really cool thing. It's still not perfect. There's a lot of kinks that still need to be worked out, but it's getting better every year. We started a foundation arm. So for the first 3 years, we were actually just a fund at the community foundation because we had no idea if this was what this was. Actually, at the end of every year, we considered just shutting it down. Every year was a one-year experiment for about the first 5 years. And so the community foundation kicked us out. They were like, you either need to get your own nonprofit or you need to convert to a for-profit. And at that time, we decided to convert to a for-profit because, for a reason that I'll tell you about later. But we've always been doing this foundation work. So until this point, 100% of our profits have gone into our nonprofit community development work. None of the owners have ever taken a dime off the table from a profit perspective. The only one who's ever been paid out of the founders is our general manager, Sean McDaniel, and that's for one season. And so we literally just reinvest everything we possibly can into building the game and the community in Chattanooga. So Operation Get Active, Peter Woolcock runs this organization for us. They go into schools that don't have organized sports programs, and they provide a great outlet for active lifestyles and healthy living and mentoring, and that thing has just exploded, and we're excited about where that's going. Chattanooga Sports Ministries was a ministry that was started by New City Fellowship using the sport of soccer to keep kids off the streets during the summers. And they were just having a real tough time keeping it afloat. And so they asked us to absorb it into our work. And so now we help kind of manage and oversee it. And it's still doing really amazing work, and it's growing every year as well. It's one of the only places you'll see Latinos and African Americans and white kids playing on the same teams, day in and day out, and it's really, really neat. And then Highland Park Commons. Anybody ever played a game or hung out at Highland Park Commons? It's a really, really cool place. I got to help spearhead this project a few years ago with Daryl Heald, one of the founders of CFC. The McClellan Foundation sponsored it. We also got U.S. Soccer to put in some money, and the Lyndhurst Foundation. So it was a really cool collaboration to bring together what is by far the most diverse place you will ever find in Chattanooga. On a regular basis, we have about 35 different nationalities out there playing soccer, just hanging out together. It's really, really neat. Any night you should go, any night there's pickup. If you're driving through Highland Park, you should stop and just go check it out and see what's happening there. It's electric. So back to those goals that we set out with, I think we can have a resounding yes on the building community and civic pride. Quick anecdote, there's now been 7 marriages that have come about from the supporters section group. And I think we're into our first generation or the next generation of born Chattanooga Football Club fans. So it's pretty amazing. Local economy, Chattanooga's been rocking and rolling, so we obviously can't take any credit for that. But we do like to take a little bit of credit for what's happening in the Finley Stadium district and creating some momentum over there where, it was a ghost town 9 years ago. Cultural diversity, we're working our best on that and making good progress. And we've definitely accomplished this, which we thought this one was going to be the hardest one to accomplish. And maybe that's been the most obvious one that we've been able to accomplish. So the next, what's next? Well, everybody needs more flopping on their team, right? So we're going to go find the most creative players we possibly can. Just kidding. That is an amazing, I could literally watch that for like 5 minutes. It feels like they practiced it. So we're going to deepen our partnerships. Wolfsburg, which is the top team in the Bundesliga in Germany, approached us through our relationships at Volkswagen, and they obviously want to build their brand in the U.S., but they're also trying to find talent. And the U.S. is rich with young talent, and we falter when we get to the upper levels because we don't have great development systems for them. So they want to come over here, farm our talent. They want to send talent over here to play with our team. So we're trying to figure out ways to deepen that relationship, but it's an ongoing conversation, and we're excited to be having it with them. It's an embarrassment I think, as a city and somebody who's passionate about soccer and the tool that it can be for community development, that all of our facilities, all of our soccer playing facilities, are in floodplains and are nowhere near neighborhoods. You have to drive 20, 30 minutes to get to the nearest open fields. And oftentimes when you get there, they'll have them locked down or taped off or whatever, and you can't even play on them. So this initiative, it's a private park, but it's open to the public. So if the city and the county are not going to prioritize recreational facilities, I think it falls on the citizens to figure out a way to provide good open parks for the community. So we don't have the model perfectly figured out, but we'd love to keep exploring building parks like this in lots of different neighborhoods. Soccer is a very expensive sport to play. Jason's nodding his head. He's got kids that play club soccer. I mean, literally thousands of dollars a year to travel and to pay the fees and coaches and the gear and all that kind of stuff. I think that with our youth work on the foundation side, we're starting to identify kids who are extremely talented, who have never seen or been seen by the coaches in our academy system. And so we need to think really hard, and we are thinking really hard about ways to create a free-to-play model for kids that can't afford it and can't spend the time to travel back and forth. Transportation's really one of the biggest issues. So if we can bring it into their neighborhoods, make transportation a non-issue, and bring the coaches to them, I think there's some magic in there that we're working really hard on. We get this question a lot. When are you guys going to go pro? I can say we're working on it. It's the U.S. soccer landscape from a league standpoint is kind of a mess. Below the MLS, it's unsustainable and unprofitable. And if we were to jump up into one of those leagues right now, we'd be out of business in 2 years. And that's not good for the community. So we are not going to sacrifice sustainability for going pro. So we're working on that, but some other stuff has to happen first. And this is why we set up Chattanooga Football Club as a C corporation, for-profit. We're in the by the end of this season, we're going to do an offering, nationwide offering, to where people can buy a stock in Chattanooga Football Club. So it'll literally be owned by the ownership group and also by whoever wants to participate in that. And it will be very different. Well, I can't go into a lot of details. It'll be very different from how other groups handle ownership, which is typically more of a membership model. This will be like actual ownership. So we're very excited about that. So I wanted to bring it back around to the topic of game. And the only way I can do that is through some cliches. So I'm going to use some unoriginal words originally, and hopefully I get credit for that. So be ahead of the game. I'm a startup guy. I love creating new things, and I want to encourage you guys to lean into the things that you're passionate about. A mentor of mine said to me recently, find the things that you believe that nobody else believes, and then go do those things. And so that's what personally I've tried to do over the years. That's what we did with Chattanooga Football Club. That's what we did with CoLab and a couple of those other things. And just want to encourage you guys to be ahead of the game, lean into the things you're passionate about, and figure out a way to move something down the road. Just because you're thinking about something, just because you're passionate about something that maybe nobody else is, or something like that, it doesn't mean that you're moving. So you actually got to get in the game. You got to put it into motion. Another mentor of mine, Frank Brock, said, as my first business was failing, he said, "Sheldon, I'm really proud of you because you're in the game and you're figuring out how to live life in a unique and a different way. And when you're in the game, you see the opportunities, you see the plays, and when you're not in the game, you're just watching." So I want to encourage you guys, get in the game. When you're in the game, you got to bring your A game. If you bring anything less than your A game, you might as well be watching on the sidelines because you will lose. Pretty plain and simple. My last point, play the long game. Too many people have this tunnel vision, short-term perspective of life, what they're doing, and they're trying to make a quick buck and, flip a business or flip property or whatever, and it's a money grab. And money grabs aren't like the worst thing in the world. I don't want to say that making money is bad, but making money at the detriment to other people or communities or things like that are not productive to society. So figure out a way to invest in things that will last for decades or centuries, and you'll be so much more fulfilled, and so will your city. So kind of in closing, I just want to ask you to ask yourself, are you playing a beautiful game? Is it something that you're passionate about? Where are you investing your time, your money, your energy, your talent, your relationships? Just want to encourage you guys to go, make it beautiful. So that's all I got.